Hello. Uh, I think everything should be good. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Wednesday stream. It is Wednesday and I am streaming. Ergo, it's Wednesday stream. Today is probably a little bit overdue art stream. Also, I apologize in advance if I sound weird. I have gotten some sort of seasonal allergen congested nonsense. So I'm like on Sudafed and things of that nature. So if I sound a little weird or anything like that, just that time of year, I guess. I'm not sure. Today was a little bit this is starting off great. Today is a little bit of an overdue art stream. I haven't done an art stream in a while. And when I first made the stream, the whole idea was to be not a full 50-50 thing, but closer to a 50-50 thing. But that's not relevant. Today, it's, for the first little while is gonna be doing, Pokemon sketch requests from chat. And then, after that, I have a couple small things here and there to work on, and then I've also got some things I'd like to draw, just some fan art. Yeah, it's so like a lot of my Wednesday streams, this is probably gonna be a little bit more chill than like what we went through on Sunday. After Sunday, I need like a breather. Oh. And Friday before that, that was nuts. So I feel like I probably should have written down somewhere that like, hey, request a Pokemon. But Aussie, since you're already here, if you'd like me to draw a specific Pokemon, let me know. If not, I will probably just pick one randomly off of Bulbapedia. Let's see, I'm scrolling. I'll go ahead and start with a random Pokemon, and then if you do have a request, I'll just write it on the request list. But I scrolled a random wheel and it gave me Skrelp. We're gonna do Skrelp. I don't think I need to write their names, actually, now that I think about it. Skrelp is a neat Pokemon. I'm kind of sad that it's our only, like, Leafy Sea Dragon representation. I feel like... I don't know. There could have been a lot more interesting things done with seahorses in general. I like seahorses, I think they're very neat. Oh, I see how the shape is. Okay, never mind. I'm doing that completely wrong. Anyway, how has your week been? Chat? Mine has been... good, I think. I don't know how else to describe it. Monday was a holiday here in the US, so it's been a little bit shorter than normal, which is good, and I don't know. Apart from that, it feels very like it's the same thing it is every week, which is just... it's fine, you know, it's not great, it's not bad, it's fine. Nope, that is not what I want. Let's see. I want to draw his little snout without it looking like a really bad drawing a Dumbo. Let's see. And I don't think I'm gonna get there. My eraser is way too small. Okay, that's still not great. That looks more like a snout than anything else I've drawn so far, so we'll go with that. But yeah, it's Wednesday. It's the time of year where my sinuses are going a little haywire. I feel like most people have that time of year, but it's just different times for different people. And I'm sure it also depends on, like, where you live, too. Like, back when I lived back home, I don't think I had any sort of seasonal nonsense like this time of year. But now, where I currently live, I absolutely do. And it's, like, super noticeable. I wonder if it's a product of growing up, like, with your body acclimated to one environment, but then you go into the next one, it's just, like, it doesn't know what to do with itself. Excuse me. Let's redo this line. This is not gonna be a great sketch, but it's the first one. So there's gonna be some interesting looks. Especially because I don't think I've drawn a Skrelp before. I think X and Y is the gen that I am, like, the least familiar with overall. Because I think around the time Gen Y came, or Gen 6, I'm not sure why I'm saying Gen Y, Generation 6 came out, I was, I think, very busy with school-related things at the time. That, or that was just the time when, like, the most... I'm failing to make a sentence here. So I've pretty much been into Pokemon for as long as it's been in the United States. But there was a period, I don't remember how old I was, where I was like, alright, Pokemon is dumb, and I'm not interested in it anymore. So I don't care about it, I don't want to hear about it. And I'm wondering if that's when X and Y came out. I feel like it might have been. Which is ironic because I love the Sylveon. Sylveon's great. Grelp is still interesting. I'm trying to think if there are even any, like, poisonous seahorse or seahorse adjacent species. I'm not sure. Oh, no. I know he's a seahorse, but, like, that back was a bit much. Oh, nope. Sure, that can work for the front. So then... Well, now he's just a little skinny. Maybe... I did that a little bit, and then... Because I like those lines. Still kind of... The back looks extra, but you know what, it's fine. Seahorses can look really funny. Sometimes. Oh, I see its shape and now I remember what Pokemon it is. Honestly, I didn't remember it. That's... yeah. I mean... There's literally over 1,000. It's not reasonable to expect someone to remember all of them, you know what I mean? Like, I consider myself to be a huge Pokemon fan, and I have a hard time remembering them all, and I'm someone who spends a lot of time, like, invested in Pokemon. And I'm sure there are, like, super fans out there who are like, I can name every Pokemon, I can name, like, every move they can learn. But, like, that takes a lot of time and devotion. More so than the average, like, person. Let's scoot him up a little bit so I can draw his feet better. Or his little, tail fins. I was really hoping at some point they'd have, like, a water grass type leafy sea dragon. Because it's the whole point. They look like leaves, you know? I think I had a stuffed leafy sea dragon when I was younger and I called it Leafy. I have no idea where it came from. But I just remember being so giddy because I think whenever I got it, it was the first time I'd ever seen, like, a leafy sea dragon stuffed animal and not just a seahorse. Because I liked leafy sea dragons much more than seahorses. And poor Mama Sheep had to hear that more times than she can probably count. Let's see. I started out getting real sketchy with it, and now I'm just drawing this lines. Hello, Mama Lamb, how are you? Do you want me to draw a specific Pokemon? Oh, whoops. Oh, I don't even remember what color this was on the color wheel. There we go. Something like that, yeah. No, it'll save. And he's got his little web. Like his little fins. They look like webbed duck feet, but with extra steps. You remember Leafy? Oh no. I bet you do. So there's one, and then the other one looks like it's kind of right there. Something like that. And then... So there's little feet. Very weirdly shaped, but you know. Pokemon biology is interesting and unique. Cough, cough. I don't know what I'm insinuating. I always feel like no matter how hard I prep, I'm always like less prepared for Wednesday streams than I am for Friday and Sunday ones. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's in the middle of the week. Or maybe it's some weird mental thing. It could be both, actually. Alright. He looks like... I'm not done. Obviously, I've got his little fins to do. But he looks like the kind of the monsters from Chex Quest. If you've ever played that. Except he's not slimy and green. But I think the monsters from Chex Quest had like the same snout. And it extends from right there. This little extra leaf appendage. Kind of like a Pikmin. A little Pikmin leaf. Yeah. We'll give them a little color. At least give them a little bit of eye color or something. But for that, I want to use... Actually, no, I don't want to use that one. Oh, no, I don't like that one either. Okay, never mind. Let me switch to this. Okay, maybe it's just the color I don't like. That's exactly what it was. It was the color. That is the more accurate color, just glancing at it at least. I still don't think that's the right color. Anyway, it's fine. We'll just leave his eye colored in and we'll come back to that later, I guess. Okay. So we want this brush. I haven't gotten any more requests. That's fine. I'll just do another scroll, pick a Pokemon at random. Oh. Okay. Next one I got is Cubchoo. Again, another one I've not drawn before. At first you're like, oh, it's just a bear. That's simple, but the bear's head is pointy. Like that kind of shape? Maybe a little bit rounder. Not as wide on the bottom. And then if we want it to look like directly at... do we want it to look directly at us? Because then it'll be like... If I can get the nose placement right, I think it'll look good. And it goes all the way kind of down as well. Yeah. That looks accurate for a bear, right? trying to think if I've ever drawn like a... I'm sure I've drawn a bear before. Once or twice. Can you draw Cyndaquil? Yes, I will add it to the list. Dun, 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 dun. And then after Cubchoo, Cyndaquil will... Oh, it's still hard to read, isn't it? Is that too small of text? Is that okay? Or maybe I should put it down here instead? Yeah! We'll put it there. We'll put it there. Yeah. So yeah, after I draw Cubchoo, I'll draw Cyndaquil. Now I know I've drawn Cyndaquil before. Maybe not since I was... Maybe not since Ruby and Sapphire came out, but like I know I've drawn Cyndaquil before. I've drawn many Pokemon in my lifetime. Just quite a lot of them were drawn before the year 2008. If somebody asked me to guess how many times I've drawn Pikachu in my life, I don't think I would be able to guess at all. I'd just be like, oh god, oh, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm scared of making Cubchoo look really creepy. Because I know I've... Real bears, I'm sure I have before. But I know at one point I was very into Gloomy Bear, and I drew a ton of Gloomy Bear. So I know I've drawn a bear a lot before. This isn't looking too bad. I'll save the giant snot drip for last, though, probably. You know what Cubchoo reminds me of? If you've ever played... I don't know if it's only in Megamix, but Rhythm Heaven Megamix, there's a really great minigame where it's a bear. And he's very depressed, and he has two, like, paper grocery bags. One is full of donuts, one is full of slices of cake. And he shoots the donuts and cakes up into the air by squeezing the bag, and you have to essentially eat them. He just leans his head over and goes, munch. Whenever you press the right button. And over the time, you're like, oh no! His girlfriend broke up with him. That's what you're led to believe. Then he's having a dream, and his girlfriend's like on a picnic with him. It's cute. That is a bear. Oh, crud. I haven't... I'm sitting here, I just realized I have not finished the main event stages for the Arknights event yet. I don't even think I've logged in today, actually. I should do that after this stream. I want all the event rewards. I want to get, I want Vigil. I do not have Vigil. That leg is much too small. Make it a little bit shorter and a little bit bigger. I want that shape though. Still really long. Yeah, something like that. That's shorter. I love how some parts of it get really sketchy and then the other parts of it are just so nice and clean. That's just how I sketch things, I think. I guess. His poor leg still looks really small. Well, thank you. Thank you, Aussie. The one leg is giving me problems that I didn't know I could have. Ugh. But now I've got to draw its giant frozen booger. But it needs to convincingly come out of one nostril. Because they never have two for some reason. And then they give it like that frosted look. It's a kind of pathetic little Cubchoo. That's really funny. Its little body is too small for it. Oh no, let me do some resizing really quick. Oh no, that was funny. Oh goodness. And then okay, proportions are much better now. Initially, that looked really strange. Right back to max opacity. There. That's not the brush, that's the eraser. Cubchoo. That Pokemon reminds me of the bear from Crash Bandicoot. I wish I could remember what bear you're talking about. I've played Crash Bandicoot, but I never owned a PlayStation as a kid, you know? So if I played it, I was at someone else's house, or like at a public place with a video game console. So maybe like an in-store demo back when they had those. That's like the only place I can think of, but I know I've played a little bit of Crash Bandicoot. And I remember getting really frustrated, but that's also because I didn't know really what it was or how to play it or anything of that nature. It's the consequences of only ever having Nintendo consoles in your house as a child. Okay. Cyndaquil. Let's see. In my opinion, I think if you have to look at the starters as like a singular group of starters, and it's like, all right, you can only pick one group of starters, and that's like the best group of starters. And like no mix matching or anything like that. I think Gen 2 would be my pick for like the most solid group. You could argue that like in terms of typing that it's not, because you know, later gens they're all, not all of them, but a lot of them are dual type, like in Gen 7 with a hold on, Poplio, Rowlet, and Litten. But I think in terms of like design appeal and like, I don't know, they're just good. I think Cyndaquil, Totodile, and Chikorita are like the best trio. Gen 1 is just... I don't know, I don't know how I feel about Gen 1. Also, this snout is gonna be the death of me. Oh boy. I'm not good at snouts of those like the anteater. It's never been my strong suit. Now he kind of looks like a duck. We might be able to... Oh. No, let's not. Let's not do that. Oh, that was a tragic occurrence. I will get this at some point. Now he looks like Mr. Snuffleupagus a little bit. Oh no. Oh god. And I feel bad that, like, I consider the Gen 2 set to be so good that Cyndaquil is only my least favorite by default. Because there's no one else that I can put in least favorite. I think all three of them are just really good. But I don't know, I like Chikorita a little bit more than Cyndaquil. And then I like Totodile more than Cyndaquil or Chikorita. I don't know. Okay, okay. We're getting somewhere. Kinda. That's perfect. Okay, and then his little body. Oh, not the whole kit and caboodle. Let's just move his head. He's got his little legs. He kind of looks like a little chicken right now. It's not on purpose, I swear. But he does kind of look like him, doesn't he? It's because he doesn't have the fire and all of the effects, and also the body's just a little small for the head. Oh, that should be fine. So he's got... He's like half body... No, he's like 60% body, 40% head. If I had to make an estimated guess. And of course it's because he's a baby and like they all tend to even out as they get older. Or they evolve. You know. We all know at least like 2 Pokemon, right? Like Pikachu and Charizard. Mama Sheep's like, oh, I know those 2. I know you've drawn Pikachu a million times, But how about 1,000,001? Okay. You asked so nicely. You're right, though. I've drawn the small rodent more times than I think I have the capacity to count. Oh, you stupid. There we go. Stay there and don't move. Thank you. I'm trying to think of how I used to draw a Pikachu. It wasn't good. Alright. We'll keep the back not as intense. Keep that there for now. And, maybe kind of give his arm a little rotate. Yeah. And then we'll do his swap. His little back design. Yeah. Now he's looking like a Cyndaquil. Whoop. He's got his little toenails. And I think for the flames, I'll just change the color of the pen. I think I'm gonna make him a little smaller in the square, so his flames can, like, take up the rest of the space. Also, his Japanese name is so long. Hino Arashi. It's such a long name. That's 5 syllables. Wait, hang on. Before I actually draw them out, let me find a map where it goes. Probably should not freehand this. That'd be like our baseline. Actually, maybe make the baseline a little bit closer so we can have some nice depth and length of flame. And then we'll do a couple in each area to kind of show that's how the direction's supposed to be going. And then, like, down here. Yeah. Just like that. Hydrate time. Oh yes, of course. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the head pats, Pepsi Man and Tuttle and Aussie. I'm sorry I've been so quiet this stream. How's the arts going? It's going. We're on Pokemon number 3. Cubchoo looks a little cursed. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, it looks so cursed. It's fine. It's fine. We're not gonna worry about it. At least not right now. Alright, so we've got the base of the flames kind of sketched out, so we can remove this. And I'm gonna add some layers to it so it looks like actual fur. I know that's not what it is. But it kind of looks like it, you know, if you squint. And then for on his back, we'll do little tufts. And then we'll do an orange layer. Make these a little more loose. You were making yourself dinner. I should do that at some point in my future. I will. I'm kidding. I will do that after stream. His head still looks a little big. I'm gonna shrink his head just a little bit more. Come on. Yeah. Yeah! Just that little bit of shrinkage, I think, was needed. But now he looks that looks pretty dang good, I think. Spiky Cyndaquil boy. Look at him. He's spiky. Okay. Next, requested by none other than Mama Sheep. All Reliable. All Reliable, who has probably the longest page on the entirety of Bulbapedia. If I had to take a guess. Let me remove Cyndaquil off the list since Cyndaquil is done. No, that doesn't mean add and enter. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Pikachu. Let's see, when you pull up Pikachu on Bulbapedia, there is Pikachu, Cosplay Pikachu, Pikachu in a cap, Gigantamax Pikachu, and Partner Pikachu. Oh, Pikachu. Oh, right, I switched to yellow for the Cyndaquil. I think I'm gonna do something different with Pikachu. I'm gonna put it in the middle. Well, I want the ears to be fully visible, so I gotta think based on that, I think. Well, let's draw smaller and then we can make bigger if we need to. I feel like that's too big. I should just... If I turn around, I can look at my Pikachu plushies and use those as a reference too. Oh, goodness. Oh, Pikachu. The light of my young life, pretty much. I have many... I have many stories with Pikachu. Particularly with Pikachu. Pikachu plushies. Oh, boy. I got one when I was however old I was. 7TV on Firefox is busted. Really? That's... Oh no. I don't think it's busted for me. I think it's been working fine. The emote menu is locked? Weird. That's weird. I wonder why. For now, Opera. Man, when I think of Opera, I think of trying to browse the internet on the Nintendo Wii. Because, you know, that was the, Internet Explorer program that they put in Wii. My computer is just... I mean, it could be your computer. It could be, just the API. It could be my account doing something funky. Like there's so many options. That's the magic of issues with, like, internet things and technology. It could be like 75 things. You just gotta figure out which one of the 75. For the longest time, Chromium-based browsers did not work at all for me. I haven't used a Chromium-based browser in a long time. Myself, but... I know there have been some times where Firefox wasn't working for me. I think a lot of the times it's when you're trying to do something like... I don't know, but if you have, like, telehealth options available, like if you can do, like, a video call, like, with your doctor or, like, a therapist or something along those lines. I've had issues with that on Firefox where it's just, like, not letting me view the actual call or software or whatever it may be. Something, I think it has to do with security certificates. I've read about it somewhere online that probably either had sources linked, but it wasn't the source itself, or that didn't have sources. I don't know. But, yeah, that's where I've only had an issue with it. And then I used a Chromium browser when I was in college, maybe? Firefox has the best full screen of any browser. I don't know if I've ever noticed a difference between the full screens of browsers, but I'm not doubting you. You're probably 100% correct, and I just don't know. Or should we have Pikachu, like, overlap? That'd be cute. Anyway, I want to make him a little bit bigger anyway. He can overlap just a bit. For funsies. Dead eyes of God staring back into your soul. It just occurred to me. Don't laugh. It just occurred to me that Pokemon's main little guy is a mouse. And so is Disney. Why did I just now put that together? How old am I? How long have I known of the presence of both of these intellectual properties? Oh god. That's funny. But they're both mouses. Normally Disney is not on my mind at all. I've been rewatching a lot of Defunctland though, and like Kevin Perjurer makes me interested in Disney where nothing else will. I gotta figure out how I want to do these freaking eyes so they don't look super weird. Firefox is the only one I've seen that lets you access your tabs by moving your mouse to the top of the screen. Wait. I see what you mean. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I haven't used a not Firefox browser in so long. I'm not used to it being different. Although one time my computer restarted in the middle of the night, I don't believe updates were scheduled, because I tend to try and schedule those in advance. Oh my god, this Pikachu does not want to have eyeballs. My brain can't comprehend. But, I know what I'm gonna do. No, don't do that, don't do that. It had completely... At first I thought it had completely, like, uninstalled and reinstalled Firefox and given me, like, a fresh new, like, completely brand new Firefox. Because my bookmarks bar was gone. And I was in a bit of a panic with that. And it had removed all of my browser extensions. Like, all of them were gone. Eventually I found out that my, bookmarks bar was just hidden, so I was like, oh no, don't remember every single thing I have on there. This is gonna be a nightmare. But that didn't have to happen, so we're good. But I had to go and reinstall every single browser extension I've ever had. That was annoying. Everything that makes me use Firefox would be super basic for other companies to implement into their browsers, but they're just dumb. I don't know. I don't claim to know anything about, web development, or, like, not just web development, because that's like, what, you know, building websites and stuff, and even I have some experience in that. But when it comes to, like, building, like, an internet browser, I don't know, that is above my pay grade. So, also I keep looking up at my computer because I'm like, oh, reference image, not realizing that I switched the browser a couple minutes ago and forgot to switch it back. Actually, I have a better idea for what to do with the eyes. Yeah, Defunct Land's a pretty good YouTube channel. I don't think... but like, his, like, cream of the crop has to be the video he made on the Disney Channel TV theme song. That is like a... That is not a YouTube video. That's like a full-on, legitimate-ass documentary. It's so good. That video is incredible. And then the one on the Wiggles ride was pretty great. I never realized that the Wiggles were as popular in the US as they were until I watched that video. I think by the time they, like, got popular in the United States, I was just too old for, like, that type of media. But, yeah, I had no idea they were... I knew they were like big in like their home country of Australia, but like I had no idea. There's a pom-pom VTuber pom. Do they just talk in bubble noises? That's funny. Did you have 5 fingers? Yeah. I don't know. It's just a model. Yeah, that's a good point. I think I kind of asked without fully processing that it was just a model and not like a full-on VTuber, which is my bad. Something about Wednesday streams, man. I am like the way less eloquent and like way less put together than I am normally. Can you send a link? You should be able to. If Nightbot stops you, just let me know. Hey! I'm gonna click it. It'll let me. Oh no, wait. Oh, wait, no, okay, okay. Wrong pom-pom! Wrong pom-pom! That's not the pom-pom I was thinking of! I swear! I have one brain cell, and it is not here today. It is hanging out somewhere else. Oh my god. I keep forgetting his name is Pom-Pom! I'm also so curious as to who voices Pom-Pom in Japanese. I don't know if that information's been made public. But I would really like to know. Oh, what? Oh, right. Merge down. My god, I thought you were talking about a Homestar Runner character, and I was about to be both impressed and extremely confused. Like, who would be making a mod? Like, if anyone would make a VTuber model of like a Homestar character, it would be Homestar Strongman, not Pom-Pom. But then it's like, well, maybe they did it because Pom-Pom is probably one of the easiest characters to animate. I don't know. Pikachu is waving and saying hello. Look at the Pikachu. He's kind of goofy and fucking weird. He's kind of weird looking. I'm not gonna lie. Oh. I think he's glad that you like him, Tuttle. He's something. Oh boy. You're welcome. I'm trying to think of how I drew Pikachu when I was little. Hang on. I think I would do... So this is when I was, like, young, right? I think I would draw, like, a square. And, like, the ears. Little feet like that. And then I do the arms like that. So basically, he looks like, something from something else. But yeah, that's how I would draw Pikachu when I was really little. He can stay up in the corner as a treat. He can be tiny in the corner, just as a special treat. Okay. I'm still open to any requests that anyone would like me to draw. but it's okay if not. Don't sweat it if you're like, no, man, I don't have anything. That's fine. Luxray. Okay. Let me pull up the Bulba. I'm using Bulbapedia as my reference. So let me pull up the Bulbapedia. Luxray. I get Luxio and Luxray confused. I don't mean to. I do. Oh boy. Let's draw the big... He's like a giant... He's not a Sphinx. But he's a Sphinx, kinda. Let's see. So we'll want to make his head much smaller compared to the canvas. Trying to think of like how to draw like a cat's like face. And that's not it. That's not even close. Nope, I'm starting over. The whole point of this is to challenge me, but when I feel challenged, I'm like, oh god. Okay, I think I've got a better start at least. But this one might take a couple minutes before it becomes even slightly recognizable, just because when it's a Pokemon I've not drawn before, and I've drawn Shinx quite a few times, but I don't think I've ever drawn Luxray. And when it's a Pokemon I don't know super well, I have to like break it down into shapes. If my model's doing weird things, just ignore it. It's fine. Luxray looks... Okay. I don't mean to be rude. Luxray looks like a Digimon to me. I don't know. I think it's just the shapes. And I think the eye coloration. I don't know why the eye coloration is like... No, that's like a tier 4 Digimon or something. Digimon's not bad, it's just... They're just different, like... Well, to be fair, Digimon are way less animalistic. You could argue that Agumon is... Because he's like a little dinosaur guy. He looks like fucking, what is his name? The baby, T-Rex in the Land Before Time series. What is his name? That's what Agumon looks like. I can't frickin' remember. I like it when your model just says, I am small. Yeah, it does that because of, like, where I have my iPad. Like, it kind of freaks out with, like, the eye reading and stuff, and it'll just, like, glitch out like that. And nothing I've done has worked, so I'm just like, we're just gonna ignore and move on. I'm sure there's a way to get it to stop, but I'm all, you know, with always be improving your stream, there's always things that could be improved, you know? Do I want... No. Let's not do that, actually. Okay. Let's see. Why am I having a hard time with animal leg shapes today? Good lord. That's better. He's a little elongated, though. There we go. Now he's not as lanky. Night! You're welcome! I'm gonna get a text about that tomorrow morning. Your text chat told me good night! This guy's tail is gonna be, like, pointing in the air. Like, oh, I'm gonna show off, although the star is really mangled. I will fix it. Now I'm just, like, looking at, like, do I need to, like, shrink anything, make anything bigger, make anything longer? Do any weird warping, which I actually might do for this one. No, not the Pikachu ear, though. We don't want to warp that. It'll just make things more complicated. Let's give his legs a little more stretch. Stretch. Okay. Yeah. I'm just glad to be doing art streams again. I have not had the chance to because I've had, like, an obligation drawing. It's for a zine. The zine's not out yet. But that's what I've been working on for, like, the past 2.5 months. And that's taken up pretty much all of my drawing time recently. Because I worked on it for a long time, you know. And that kind of overtook pretty much everything I had going on drawing-wise, so now that I'm no longer involved in that because I finished it, I'm like, oh, I can draw more random things now. So I've got, like, more works in progress than I can count. It happens. Okay. So we need to go in here and clean that up. And I keep wanting to draw fan art for new things, but I keep enjoying new things faster than I can make fan art. That's just a personal curse, though. It's so weird. Because, like, you know, oh, that eye is way too large. Whoops. Let me draw the little tufts on the face first. I think that would be a good help. It's weird because we live in the internet age, you know? That's just not positioned very well. Wait. There we go. That's a little bit better. it makes me think like new things like shows and movies, books, etc. They come out and they're consumed by probably more people than before, like they're consumed by like a wider audience because, you know, you've got like the ability to like put things on the internet and it can spread globally and stuff like that. That's like a lot more of a common occurrence. And it makes me wonder, like, if something like Star Wars had released, like the first Star Wars, I don't know what they're called, but if it had released on like even like 2012 instead of 1970 whatever, like, would it be as popular as it is today? Or like, of course it wouldn't be popular to the same extent, but would audiences enjoy the movie the way they did back in 1970 whatever? It's a thing to think about. Hello, Beebs. Ugh. So has anyone here been playing Tears of the Kingdom? AKA the game that, like, the entire internet is on fire about? I've played a little bit more recently. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably just like something in my brain. I just can't. I can't get into it. Like, no matter what I do. And, like, I really enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I played that game a lot, and, like, I beat it and stuff, you know? But I don't know. Oh, damn pause. Let me get the back part of it done first. Not really my kind of game. The first one seemed a lot better. From my playing of it, it's like the Breath of the Wild, but like much more expansive. Because instead of the big gimmick is like instead of you've got all of the X and Y axis, but like 0 Z axis. Your Z axis is 3 because you've got like the sky area to explore and like the underground area to explore, and like there's a lot of quality of life fixes and like fixes to the UI that fix a lot of the problems I had with Breath of the Wild. I think for me, I think the issue killing it for me has been the writing has been a lot less stellar. In my personal opinion. Again, I'm not very far into the game, and I'm not going to talk about any of the story stuff, but I feel like it's just not... I'm just not as motivated to figure out what the fuck is going on as I was last time. Oh my god, I saw a tweet on Twitter. I love my model and how it just freaks out. Also, yes, I will do that now. I saw a tweet where it was basically it was trying to call out game developers for being lazy by reusing assets and resources, right? And it used two examples. One of them was God of War, and I can't comment on that because I've never played a God of War anything. But the other one they used was Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And it was just like, I'm sorry, have you never heard of a direct sequel before? There was a quote tweet, and that's what got me. And they were like, this person would lose their mind if they knew about the Yakuza game series. Because, you know, it's the same place over and over and over again. Yeah, the map changes, but it's the same fucking place. Not the Ishins, but you know. It's like, bro. That's like the most basic thing that game developers do, though. You not know how much time a single model takes to make. I think this is just my, like, opinion as, like, an observer of like, game development and games and stuff like that. From my understanding and from what the like, news and, like, research has told me before when I've looked into this, video games, at least, like, on the AAA level with, like, a high degree of, like, features and quality and shit like that, has become, like, more expensive. That sentence fell apart really quick. More expensive to, like, a very expansive degree. Like, it's like, the number, what is it called when it's a number times itself? Like, 2 squared or 2 cubed. What is that called? What is that term called? It's like that. I don't know math terms. I just know how to do it. But the price of games, like on a commercial market, has stagnated for a very long time, while the costs of development itself have gone up a lot. And from my understanding, that's where a lot of, like, the current friction between consumers and, like, the AAA market as a whole. And, like, yeah, some of the stuff AAA market does isn't very good. With, like, the loot boxes. People can spend their money how they want, but I don't understand CSGO skins and things like that. But, like, you can't just take, like, the upper management of, like, a game's process or, like, a company or whatever and assume it applies to, like, every person in the company, because that's, like... I understand when people do that with, like, small indie projects, because they're usually just a couple of people, but, like, from my understanding, these companies have lots of employees. Like, a lot. Right? Also, this is taking me so long. It's because I'm talking. And, like, I think it needs to be understood that not every person that works at a game development studio is out to just rob you of your money and be lazy. But that's such a, like, pertinent thing. I don't know. High-level game design is highly inefficient, primarily due to investor interests. I don't know anything about investors. Or that kind of stuff. I'm just thinking of, like, from the perspective of the people who are actually creating the game. Like, they're fucking trying, man. You know? That's kind of where I'm at. And again, that's just my opinion. It's not fact just because I say it is, like, a thing that I observe and, like, maybe think. Maybe observe isn't the right word. Speaking of Yakuza, I've still gotta, like, I still have to up... Why are my sentences falling apart tonight? I'm getting frustrated with my own brain. I've gotta get more hard drive space on my freaking PC. Words are very difficult, but it's fine. Let's see, again, you've got puffs on the back. And you've got the stripities. I'm also being reminded, I think it was on Tumblr or something. It was a post about disliking the way Pokemon design changed, and like it's getting worse over time and things like that. And I remember one of the things was talking about how features were added onto a Pokemon for no reason, like you couldn't explain it away as like a biological whatever, like camouflage, you know? And they were talking about, they were like, Gen 7 is where it really went downhill. And I'm looking at Luxray, and Luxray is Gen 4. And like, why are its front arms striped in the back? Like, there's no purpose to that. That's just a stylistic choice to add like some extra flair. And like, I feel like that post completely like negated the fact that like they're fantastical animals, so of course they'll have like something that's probably not explainable by like our world's version of biology. But maybe the stripes on Luxray's legs like help it like keep its like feet camouflaged better when it's like running, so like small mammals can't see it run past them or something. I don't fucking know. It's okay that not every Pokemon design is like a slam dunk for everybody. So I was telling Mama Sheep when she has to hear about my Pokemon nonsense sometimes, and I was telling her about the Pokemon Fit collection, and it's like, that's what they're doing it because everybody has a favorite Pokemon. Like every Pokemon is someone's favorite Pokemon. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, there's over 1,000 Pokemon, but Pokemon's also the highest grossing global media franchise of all time. So, like, common sense is like, that's gotta be a lot of people, you know? Why can I not get the toes right today? What is wrong with me? Okay, that's a little bit better. Everybody knows swag increases your stats. Like, yeah, and you could argue, like, what? One, why shiny Pokemon in general? But then two, like, shiny Pokemon would make more sense from a real-life animal standpoint, with all the ones that are just, like, slight color variations, you know? But instead we've got, like, Charizard, which is, like, completely different. We've got, like, the entire slew of greens. I think Espeon is the most prominent example that I can think of. And it's like, well, what's the point of that? And then someone says, well, that's because it was something about how the coding in the earlier games, something sprite glitch. But then you can say, well, why didn't they just take it out in future games, huh? Gotta think about that kind of stuff. I mean, you don't have to. I'm sure most people don't think about that kind of stuff. Okay. I think his back foot's a little teensy. There we go. He looks a little funky, but I'm trying. The early game's broken code is a lot of fun. Yeah, like when you're fucking... Like, I mean... Fucking, Missing though. I was like, what is it called? Like, that's the most famous, like, spooky Pokemon thing ever. And it's a Gen 1 glitch. A very easy to replicate one, too. Alright, I'm gonna redraw this completely, I think. Yeah, there we go. That looks much better. My favorite thing about Missing No is that it's like one of the least interesting glitches in that game, and it still got famous. I think part of the reason it got famous is because it was so easy to replicate. It was so easy for, like, kids to accidentally do, you know? I think that might be part of it. Luxray. He looks a little... His legs are a teeny bit short, but you know what? It's fine. He looks okay. Oh. Yeehaw. As always, if you want to request a Pokemon Doodle, just drop it in chat, and if not, I'll just kinda randomly pull one out of a hat. Not literally pull it out of a hat, but you know what I mean. Let's... Sneasel? Okie doke. I think I'll remember to add this one to the list. So it's just actually there. I'm sorry that Luxray did not technically get added onto the list. Are you able to draw Joltik? I will add Joltik. I'll probably keep streaming at least until I fill up this square, bare minimum. Come on, text. Joltik. I've drawn Joltik before. I had a friend in... We weren't close friends, but we were like kind of sort of friends in high school. And the three of us were all very into the Generation 5 bug trio. Like, I was... Volcarona is one of my favorite Pokemon. So I was very, like, Larvesta, Volcarona. One of them was very into Joltik and Galvantula, and the other one was very into Scolipede. And, can't remember the name for the smaller Scolipede. Aussie, do you want the Johto Sneasel or the Hisuian Sneasel? Normal Sneasel. I don't like Weavile. It makes me sad. That's why I was okay when Hisui and Sneasel evolved into Sneasler, because I don't like Weavile very much. I don't know why. I just don't. And then there was, oh my god, there was one video I saw where a girl was talking about Sneasler, and it was the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen. I think I saw it randomly on Tumblr, I cracked up, and then I moved on with my day, and I didn't, like, commit to memory what it was. Oh. Damn. That makes me sad. I wish I could remember. I really liked Legends. I'm like, oh my god. Super into Legends. Thought that was a great fucking game. I hope they make more Legends games like that. That game was so fun. This one is also going to be shapes for a good portion of the initial sketch. Actually, we're gonna change the tilt. Let's tilt it this way. Weavile is depressing. I don't know, man. Weavile's the greatest Pokeball in fucking Smash. It's very annoying. Or like it was. I don't know. I don't play Smash Brothers very much, or at all, to be honest. So let's see. Oh no, that's tragedy. Let's not. Let's not. Let's not. Let's not. I keep fumbling. I'm trying to do like a different composition with this one that's not just the standard Pokemon profile picture, you know? I thought about doing it with Luxray, but I was like, no, there's no way. Not right now. Not without a lot of planning and foresight and maybe looking at some reference images of actual, like, large cats. But, no, Sneasel I can do it, probably. Maybe. Let's see, it kind of comes down a little bit sharper on the head. The head is also not that oval. We'll keep it oval, like, on this side. Yeah, something like that. Oh, what music have you guys been listening to? I feel like it's that time of year again where I'm like, alright, I'm in the mood for something completely different from what I've been listening to for like the past couple years. I'm always like, I'm never hunting for recommendations, but I'll always take them, you know what I mean? I've been playing a lot of Dawn FM again, which is The Weeknd's album that came out in 2022. Really like that album. I don't know, I listen to all kinds of stuff. See, I do too, that's the problem. I usually find my music from video games. That's fair. I listen to a good chunk of video game music, but for me it's just not enough. I need more variety in my life. But no, there's so much good video game music. It kind of hurts my head to try and think about it. Did you ever listen to any of the music for Memento Mori? Oh. I'm assuming you're asking Beebs, I think? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. I know I had a Lego Island soundtrack CD when I was a kid. When I'm listening to video game music nowadays, it's usually Toho music. Hey, hey, you're listening to right now. And if not that, like, I recommended it to you quite a long time ago. Oh no, I forgot, didn't I? Hang on. Hang on. I don't have a pen within distance. I'll write it on the side of this drawing in the Luxray square. Okay, I wrote it down. I wrote it down this time. I should have sticky notes and a pen near me at all times when streaming. That's a good thing I will set up for the future. It's not tonight. Like, there's been 1 or 2 times where I've actually had the sticky note and I'm like, oh, that came in handy. I should do that next time that I forgot. So I should do like a permanent, like, this is here. Do not put it somewhere else. It is important. Oh my god, what the bug? It keeps happening. It keeps happening. Cool. I've got the link now. I'm not playing it on stream because I'm not that crazy. But yeah, I've got that now. But I keep, every time I'm like looking something up, I keep putting away my reference picture for the Pokemon I'm drawing. I gotta stop doing that. I feel like I've got like a good handle kind of on the claw now. Okay, so then we would want to erase this whole section. It keeps happening. Why does it keep happening? Because, hang on. I'm gonna try and make it happen. No. No. Okay, I'm making it shake a little bit. Shenanigans not MP4 is really fitting for them. Yeah. I try to think ahead. When am I not behaving in some form of shenanigan? That's a good question, actually. Speaking of video game music, so this particular song that's playing in the medley right now is from the Touhou 12.3, which, if you're like, 12.3? The fuck kind of decimal is that? It's because it was not like a full separate game. It's like a separate game, but like so basically Touhou 12.3 is Touhou 10.5, but with not DLC, but like the amount of extra stuff you'd find in a DLC and slightly revamped stuff with like battles and bugs and stuff. And this is the main song for 12.3, and it's based off of a particular like 70s. I don't know if it was if it technically is a tokusatsu show. I don't know jack shit about tokusatsu. Just from what like people that are adjacent to my stream yell about. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's based off of the theme song from that show. And there's a really great Touhou PV where they added words to the song, and it's got the actual giant mecha in it, and like Sanae and Suako and Kaneko are all controlling it. But of course there's weird shit in there. Like there's weird shit in so many pre-2013, 2014 Touhou videos. I don't understand it. I just don't understand. I don't know. I know I want to go to Touhou Fest next year. I didn't get to this year because this year it was very much either a like go to Touhou Fest for the weekend of Touhou Fest or like go see my family back in the hometown for like I think I was gone for 2 weeks. So I'm glad I made the choice I did, don't get me wrong. Sneasel looks kind of goofy. But now that, like, I know that they're gonna have another one, I really want to go. I've waited since I was a teenager for there to be a Touhou convention in the United States, and it's, like, finally a thing now. You know, Sneasel is a weasel, but the way its face is structured, is it a very cat-like type of deal? I feel like especially in the way it's designed like how a lot of like the earlier cat Pokemon's faces are designed. I also think that they were really cool by adding, like, a shrew as, like, a fucking starter Pokemon back in whenever Gold and Silver came out. I'm sure, like, after Gen 1, none of those kids were, like, expecting to see a shrew. But it's okay, because that shrew ended up being badass. And Chikorita fucking ends up becoming what is essentially a dinosaur. Meganium is a dinosaur. And then Feraligatr is just my precious boy, my fella. I love... there is a very strong Feraligatr bias in this house. I love all of the Gen 2s, as I said earlier in the stream. I'm incredibly biased, though. Sneasel also looks like he could be a Tom and Jerry villain. Or she, I guess I'm drawing a female Sneasel. Oh boy, time to try and fail to get the mouth right. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Speaking my frustration into existence kind of helped. I'm gonna have to do something about this. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm gonna have to do something about this. I can't, because I can't keep shrinking and showing that I don't have the rest of my body, or at least I need to get like a full model before I start shrinking all the time. So it's like, no, look, I have legs. I do have legs. I do. We got a Sneasel. It's a very simple Sneasel. Overall, all one of its little tails, spike feathers. Yeah, that's too high, actually. We'll still draw it, but we're gonna lower it. Yeah! I think the tiny sheep is cute. Thank you. But I would like to have more of a body in the future. He's like waving, or excuse me, she's like waving to her buddies. Oh, I forgot the little eyelashes. Hang on. She's like, yo fam, over here, we're gonna eat some pizza, and then we're gonna watch, I don't know, Homeward Bound on VHS. Does that date me? I feel like kids have been shown Homeward Bound besides like when it just came out on VHS. I think I first watched it quite a while after that movie came out. It's a good movie though. Big fan. I really it's a kids movie, but it's a good kids movie. You know. That's what I preferred over Air Bud. I was never like, I want to watch an Air Bud movie. It was like, just play Homeward Bound. There was a daycare I used to be at after school when I was younger, and they had some VHS tapes, and they had a terrible Black Beauty movie. And I was still going there for many years after. It was probably age appropriate because it was designed for younger children, and it was just my mom knew the owner and I needed to go somewhere, so she'd put me there. And I've watched Hotel for Dogs probably 100 times. Holy shit! That's impressive. I've seen that movie once. I can't even really remember. I know I've watched it once. I think I watched it when it came out in theaters, maybe. Back when I still did that kind of thing. Okay. We're actually moving on to Joltik now. Sorry for the delay on that. Joltik. I love that Joltik is in the new Pokemon Snap, and it's so teensy! It's so small! Which I know it's supposed to be small, but it's so much fun seeing the Pokemon in, like, the size comparisons when they do, like, Pokemon Snap and stuff. Funnily enough, I remember absolutely nothing about it. Oh no! That's funny. He's a little over. Yeah, I've drawn the Gen 5 Bug Trio quite a few times in my life. But yeah, I loved that they had both Joltik and fucking Volcarona! Bro, I lost my mind. Volcarona is one of the quote-unquote bosses. Boss is such a terrible term for it, but it's not completely incorrect, It's like, let me get his little cheek shapes kind of just sketched out. So if that's like, so he's there, and then the okay, and then he's got the and then here's where his legs start to. Oh, I think it might help if I just started kind of squish, as Strongbat said in one email, squish it, skew it, and turn it all around. Repeat, squish it, skew it, turn it all around. But I think, yeah, that leg is a little too fat. There we go. And we'll get the spikes on those probably in a little bit. There's his little leggies. There's his little leggies. A little Joltik. He kind of looks like my least favorite Pokemon right now, which is not Joltik. But that will be fixed when I'm actually drawing him, like how he's supposed to look. He's got those big fluffy fluffs. I like the boss thing the newer games have going on. 6v1 boss battle against some super Pokemon would be pretty neat. It would be interesting. I think they're again, I'm just a consumer. I don't know jack shit about like AAA game development. I don't know shit about how the company works. But if I'm just guessing based on what I've observed, they've always wanted to like take a spin on like the Pokemon formula, but nothing has ever stuck super duper hard compared to the mainline games. And but I think Legends is the first time where we're seeing like the trend is starting to shift, and no, we've actually got an alternate format of playing Pokemon that's getting overall more attention, more appeal, more favorable reviews from people than the mainline games. So I'm wondering if this is where we're going to see like an end to the mainline games or the mainline game format, maybe. Maybe they'll just stop doing new gens. Maybe they'll just focus on like Legends for a little while and then maybe do a couple more of those. I'd love to have more of like the quote-unquote different time Pokemon, like they haven't like long-term evolved into what we know them as or whatever. They have a lot of options they can take. I mean, of course they fucking do. Again, biggest, highest grossing media franchise on the entire goddamn planet. But I don't know. I know the Pokemon Center turned 25 recently, and I was kind of interested in some of the products they had because they were releasing, like, the original product lineup they had in 98, 99, 99. 99 was... Oh, shit. I can't do math. However long, 25 years ago from 2020... 98! Okay, I was right the first time. I was very interested in like the products that were like, oh, this is the exact same stuff that they released for like the first product line back in 98. It was kind of expensive compared to their other lines, so I didn't get anything. I don't know. I did like they did a whole line with Sprigatito. It was called like Sprigatito Nya Nya or something like that. That was a pretty cute set. I got some stickers and a small plush from that one. And I believe the plush has like little clips in its legs so you can clip it onto stuff. And I think it's clipped onto a different Pokemon plushie right now, if I had to take a guess. That would surprise nobody, myself least of all. Also, these are some pretty messy sketches. I'll probably do a little bit of cleaning up, like, once the stream is over. Because I tend to post, like, these, like, the viewer-requested sketch type things, I tend to post those on, like, Discord, and, sometimes I'll post them on Twitter. So, yeah, there should be a cleaned-up version of this, at least in the Discord, probably on Twitter soon. Maybe not till tomorrow. It just kind of depends. But it'll happen at least by tomorrow night. Maybe I'll give them a little bit of color. Who knows? I think what I'd like to work on and what I'm gonna work on next, I'd like to draw a decent fan art piece, and it's not just like what I usually do for fan art, which is just like a complex chibi portrait. I'd like to do a nice scene of all the girls from Doki Doki Literature Club. Cause my god, I have not been able to stop thinking about that fucking game. I'm wondering, I've already bought and installed Doki Doki Lit Club Plus. Part of my brain was like, you should stream it. And then the other part of my brain was like, no, you've already streamed a lot of Doki Doki Literature Club. I've also been like going through my like list of games to play on stream, and it's starting to get smaller. Because I've been trying to like kind of determine like more long term. It's a good game. Have you been playing Plus, or are you going to stream that as well? I have not played it. I just installed it. I don't know. My thing is, I really struggle because, like, I know that, like, I'm a variety person. But for me, it's a balancing act of, do I want to have, like, a huge chunk for like, 2 months, it's only this, and it's not, like, a very long experience game like Yakuza 0 or whatever. Like, how often should I space out those types of games? And it's just all a guessing game because I don't understand how algorithms work. But it's also why I'm always like, no, please give me game suggestions. I have like a whole Discord channel just for like people to yell, Mallory, play this, please. And there's some games that I have planned as like follower/subscriber goal rewards. Like, Skyrim's in there somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but Skyrim's in there somewhere, as an example. But it's just like figuring out what goes in the goal spots and what goes in the, oh, this is going to take a long time, I'm going to need to plan like a couple weeks around this spots, to the what goes in the, oh, this is filler and I needed a game for tonight spots. It's a balancing act. I would definitely watch. Those streams have surprisingly been some of the most fun I've had in a long time. I had so much fun streaming those games. Have I played Omori? No, I should add Omori to my list. You're so smart, Beebs. Holy fucking shit. Add. I keep forgetting it exists, and I know I will like it, because from my understanding, it's kind of in like the same vein. You didn't see that. It's not in the same vein as Eve, but it's like kind of genre, environment, ambiance vibe, kind of the same. But yeah, that's going on the list. That's going on the list. I appreciate that suggestion. Because I keep forgetting about it. And I try not to stream, like, every single game I play, like, because A, I just don't have time to. You know, I cannot stream full-time. I have day job. And, like, some games I want to take at my own pace and just play when I feel like them. Tears of the Kingdom is an example. Also, like, everybody and their mom have been streaming Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't know if you can tell, I enjoy being the fashionably late person to stream a game. Hence me streaming Doki Doki Literature Club in 2023. Um, so yeah, I think that's part of it. I've never been someone who's like, the only game that has ever been like, oh, I'm on the up and up of this, I know what's up, I know what's going on, is Star Rail. Because it came out, you know, after I had already started streaming. Oh, healing. Okay. No, we don't want that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do his pupils. I think I wanted to make them smaller. He looks a little wild. He looks... He's looking directly at us. I'm gonna make these a little shorter. I feel like they're a little too long to the point where he'd trip over them if he wasn't careful. There we go. That looks better. Look at you, little Joltik. Gotta fix that one line, though. It's a little... There we go. Hello, I am returned from movie. Hello, Toxon. Well, MMO type games have that. I gotta get this right away so I can keep up with everybody's thing going on. Yeah. The nice thing about the Hoyoverse games is that you don't have to play them like that. Like, when I played Genshin Impact, it was entirely single player. Honkai Impact 3rd, apart from doing like a couple of like randomly matched co-op stages, completely single player, Star Rail completely single player, etc. And I got Toxon to play Honkai Impact 3rd. And they were messaging me like last night, like, I'm actually crying for real right now. And I was like, yeah, I told you that would happen. Oh, so good, so good, so good. But it's so good though. Oh man, his head's so big. Okay, I know I keep finagling with Joltik, but I want him to look correct. Okay, we want to just... He's looking at you. Also, hello, Alex. Good to see you. If anybody has any... I've got 2 slots left. 1... Oh, shit. Hang on. 1 and 2. If you... Oh my god. Ignore whatever the fuck my model is doing. Got 2 more slots. Oh, you have one. Which one? I'm just over here vibing to the music. Mawile. Ooh! Okie dokie. Mawile's so... Mawile's an interesting design. I like Mawile. I think it's neat. Also, Fairy Steel is a fun combo that I very much enjoy. Although I know there are a couple other Steel Fairy dual types. Yeah, the Tink line, Zacian, Klefki and Magearna. Magearna makes sense. Also, I love how Tinkaton became, like, the runaway favorite of Gen 9. Tinkaton is great. with its big old banana pepper head. Can you draw Ditto, but then it becomes Eternatus? Maybe? Like a Ditto halfway transformed into Eternatus? I don't... Coming in here like, please draw the most painful Pokemon to draw, please. Trying to think. Or can we do the Pokemon that just walks? I don't know which one you're talking about. Oh no. Start with the banana. I think a bell pepper, like a not like a red bell pepper, but like a serrano pepper, I think is better for the giant mouth. That's just me though. It's kind of got the same curve of a, like a serrano or a jalapeno pepper. Got 2 bottom teeth. Okay. Well, at least just from this angle, it's got 2 bottom teeth. Talking about Linoone. Oh, yeah, sure. Let me... hang on. Did properties? Linooner. So, Linoone makes me think of... I am kind of sad they waited until, like, Gen 7 to come up with regional variants, because I feel like that was, like, a no-brainer type of idea. But... the entire existence of the Galarian Zigzagoon line is so funny and so weird. Because, for one, Galar is supposed to be, like, the UK. Or, like, that's what it's inspired by, right? And the Galarian Zigzagoon line is based off of an American rock band that just happened to be popular in the UK. Because, like, Kiss is an American band. They wrote a disco song. Speaking of the Kiss disco song, it is for it. Oh! I dropped my pen. I dropped my pen. I know exactly what you're talking about now. I know exactly what you're referring to now. Oh Lord, he walking. Is your pen also 50%? I'm gonna throw it at you. No, it's not. One of those fancy fucking... I was sitting here waiting for somebody to realize, Tuttle, I'm not smart! I'm not smart! Anyway, my point still stands. Galarian Zigzagoon's concept and design is so fucking weird. The shinies are fun, though. I think I have a full art, secret rare of a shiny Galarian Obstagoon. So they did the shiny secret rares in, the Gen 8 card sets. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have the Obstagoon. I know I have the Frostlass. Because of course I do. And again, another shiny that's, it's like... The one thing about shinies is that there is just no damn consistency. That's the most consistent thing about them. You've got ones that... I'm trying to remember how it worked. Because from Gens 1 through 5, it worked with a very specific way where, like, percentage-wise, it would go up one notation, I think... I don't remember if it was the RGB values, just one of them changed by, like, a small amount, or if all of them changed by a small amount. But that's what would give you shiny Pokemon. Like, every once in a while, there'd be a glitch where it pulls the wrong RGB color set, right? And they didn't start, like, putting effort into them until Gen 6. Like, Sylveon's the best example, again. But it's just like, why are some of them still kind of showing up like how the old ones were, where some of them are just like the next RGB color? But then there are a few that are designed like Sylveon, Charizard. I wouldn't be surprised if Umbreon's was done like design-wise. Like it had been altered on purpose or something like that. Some shinies are so bad. Yeah, Pikachu! I would say Pikachu is a pretty not great shiny. Unrelated. But I'm very close to having enough free crust. Should I go for the Expa? Who's in the Expa? Who's in the Expa right now? It depends on who it is. Oh, Seal! You're so correct. You're so accurate. Hersher of Truth? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait for a different character. Because you've already got... I'm sorry to everybody else in this chat. You got Hersher of Reason already, and Hersher of Reason is a better ice DPS. Hersher of Truth is good ice support, but you really can't super unlock her full potential unless you've got the entire final Hersher trio. And her ult is just not the best. So I would say skip. Nobody asked for Mary? No. No, actually. That's a good shiny Pokemon. Mary with Mallory horns. I'll have to draw that just by itself one day. Okay, I've actually got to stop talking and focus on what I'm doing. Oh god. I'm getting too heated with my opinions. Oh, thank you for the head pat. And then you've got like the thing coming out of here. Let me just make the brush opinions in this economy. I have a lot of them. Do the head pats get I think they do, because the head pat gif is obvious immersion break. The head pat gif is pinned to the model when it appears. That's why, like, when I move my head, it'll go with my head or whatever. If it wasn't pinned, it would stay in place. And if it wasn't pinned, it would probably stay the same size if I shrunk, but if I shrink with it active, it should shrink with me. Yeah, Toxon gets it. However, I have not figured out how to purposefully make myself tiny. It just happens when I'm not paying attention. I've really gotta figure out how to stop it. Yeah, see? Get off. No, you can't. Okay. Okay, I will hydrate. Thank you. Well, thank you for the head pat. Let's see. Yeah, they're two separate, like, pant legs. It's not like one giant, like, skirt, but it's also not that even. Two separate legs, yeah. Well, thank you for the head pats. I love Mawile. Mawile's in Pokemon Snap too! I don't remember who was here for that one, but I was like just going nuts about... I have talked about Pokemon. I should play Pokemon Snap on stream. I should do that. I've already like beaten it, but like... I will go back and replay that entire game if I have to. I loved that game. It was so good. As someone who was a die-hard fan of the original and was one of the people who, like, every time there was a Pokemon Direct would be like, please, Pokemon Snap news, that game was like a gift. I just wish there were more! I love when I stream Final Fantasy XIV because my Mawile art covers the chat. Oh, that's cool. I've heard people at Day Job talk about Final Fantasy XIV. He's chortling, giving a little bit of a laugh. Oh. Still a little messy on, like, this part, though. I'm gonna try and clean it up a bit more before I move on to our last Poco sketch of the evening, probably. Also, let me do some centering. No, crap. What do you use for your model? I use VTube Studio. I know there's a way to do it. I'm just probably unaware of what it is, and also, like, I'm always just doing all of the things, and just, I should probably write it down somewhere that, hey, you should be paying attention to this in your art streams. Is it it's cause of, like... Oh, my neck. It's cause of how my iPad is and how I draw on it, like, where I'm sitting. I don't have, like, an arm or anything I can use. And I don't know of one that would be able to hold it while I'm, like, leaning into it. And I've looked for a good stand before, but I've just never found one that's like, okay, this is gonna work for me. My weird, like, little jank setup that I currently use has been the best, but it doesn't work very well for my face in streaming. Okay. Last Pokemon. Dun, 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 dun. I've discorded them a while. Yes, you did, because my phone buzzed, because... Oh, there's only one T in Furret! Whoops. I can spell. I know how to spell. It's a little noodle. One of my favorite Pokemon Stadium 2 minigames has Furrets. It's the one where you have to, like, knock the Pokeballs into, your goal area. And there's, like, 4 Furrets. Furret's cute. Little noodle. Doesn't remind me of real ferrets at all. I had a friend in high school who had ferrets, and those fuckers were mean! Ugh. I think I gotta get a new cushion for my chair. My back has been killing me a little bit more than normal lately. Ferrets gotta be intensely trained. They love to bite. Yeah! Yeah, they do. Oh boy. They sure do. And I always have, like, mad respect to the people who do train them, because they're so... Honestly, from what I've heard, I've never owned a ferret, but I've heard that, like, sometimes they can be, like, more taxing to take care of than a dog. But it also depends on, like, the person and the ferret. And the ferret and the ferret! God damn it! He's chunky. He is a chunky boy. Let me fix that a little bit. It's a really nice drawing. Oh, thank you. It's not particularly them being mean. It's just a plaything for them. Yeah. Yeah, especially, yeah, you have to get 2. It's like the same thing with mice. It's preferable to have 2 of the, usually of, no, almost always of the same gender. I don't know about ferrets, but, with mice, you have to have, like, only females or only males. And you can't, like, because if there's only one of them, they don't have the social, that stuff that they need. And it's like an actual... Yeah, But, like, I know that they're not doing it out of mean. That's just, like, what they want to do. They like to chomp. Like, I'm sure if sharks were pets, it would probably be a similar issue. Because sharks just like to, like, not every species of shark, of course, but a lot of species of sharks just enjoy biting things for the sake of biting things. Tiger sharks are the ones that I'm thinking of the most. Okay, its eyes are a little too large for me, I think. Very buggy. Okay, that's better. Yeah, okay. And it needs its feet. I think I actually still have a Pokemon, like, work in progress in my work in progress folder. Which, I think we can look at that. Let's see. Yeah. This has been sitting here for like 9 months. I don't think it'll ever happen. But I think I drew that before Scarlet and Violet even came out. It was just like, ooh, let's draw me hanging out with some Pokemon that I like. Anyway, we got a whole square completed of Pokemans. Scrub looks like... Scrub looks fucking upset with his life. It looks like he looks like his car got towed and he owes like $700 in parking tickets. Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm going to call it a wrap for tonight. You know, Wednesday streams tend to be a little shorter anyway. I tend to be a little bit more scatterbrained on Wednesdays, and I still need to eat dinner. It's just how it is. You know, Wednesday streams are usually pretty chill. That kind of, for the time being, aims to keep it that way. But you never know. Things can... Never expect anything from me. Except the stream's actually happening. You can expect that much. Okay. That's enough of that. Thank you so much for coming to my stream. I always appreciate it when anybody takes the time out of their day to stop by, even if it's just to say hi or just to lurk for a couple of minutes. I hope you have an excellent evening, night, morning, day, whatever time of day it is where you currently live. And I will hopefully, maybe, possibly, who knows, see you next time. Thank you for that, Pat. See you later, guys. Oh, they're still coming! Oh god, they're still happening! Are they still happening? Oh my god, they're still happening! You may be bald yet. I think not! I know. Maybe one day in like the long-term future that can be a thing that happens. Because I think Shy Lily has like a bald like redeem that where you can just like remove all of her hair. I don't have that. Where you go, the head pats follow. So true. Alright. See Baldsy Bowler Oh, see you next time, guys.